The present administration of the All Progressives Congress, led by General Muhammadu Buhari, retired now President Muhammadu Buhari, came on board campaigning on three points. One, anti-corruption; two, fighting insecurity; and of course, the third point was, restoring the economy. And of course, many are of the belief that the president has done well in these 3 points, and some are of a different opinion that he may have done appreciably well in the aspect of security. But on the side of fighting corruption, people have come up with so many things to talk about, like he has been selective, he has been not frontal, and all of that. Well, to take me on what the president has done, or this administration has done fighting corruption, I have in the studio Chief Ambassador Dr. Ime Stephen. He's the Director General, Center for International Integrity, Peace and Development in Nigeria, and of course, a member of the National Anti-Corruption Coalition Group. He is also the president of all NGOs in Nigeria. Dr. Ime, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I've seen that you do a lot when it has to do with civil society and the fight against corruption, monitoring people, and acting as a watchdog for the society. Now, let's just take a general assessment of what the fight against corruption has been like from 2015, when this government came on board talking tough about corruption in Nigeria. What's your assessment so far?
Well, I will start in saying that the corruption fight is not only meant for the president alone. It is meant for all Nigerians. And when I say it's meant for all Nigerians, is that even the society, even the agencies that are fighting the corruption, they should check themselves too, if they're actually fighting the corruption and they're fighting it the way it is. People talk about President Muhammadu Buhari, who is not fighting corruption or is being selective. I disagree with that. I am not a PDP member. I'm not an APC. I do not belong to a party. As far as this organization is concerned, I remain and I decide to be non-partisan to any political group so that I can focus on my aims and objectives. When you look at the fight against corruption, there are so many people, like the challenges that they have with the other coalition group, who they come to me and they complain about information being given to some of the agencies, and they're not doing as much as expected of them, because I think there are some cabals, people who have the power in their hands, and they feel they are close to the president, and they feel they have the money, and they feel they have the heart, or that they cannot change. Because if you talk about fighting the corruption, the president will not come out from his office and go and start fighting corruption. He has all the missionaries on ground. I'm talking about the agencies, and he believes so much that they are doing well. And just like within the few days, you just see the director of the DSS has been removed from the office. People are feeling the president does not. He's somebody that has patience. He's a very patient person. I do not want to say I am praising Muhammadu Buhari or whatever. The youth of this country and the civil society group, they are watching. Now Nigeria has gone to a stage where everybody knows their rights. Everybody knows what democracy is all about. Then you see that the person who is not working or fighting what he has promised to fight, then you have your PCV and PVC, and you go and vote to the right person. But I will not sit down here and say that this one is doing right or this one is not doing right. I want to talk about the advisors, those that are close to the president, that are really doing this job. I think the challenges is from their own side. There are so many people who have been reporting. There have been so much reportage of the criminalities in the society. It's about the protecting the image and the integrity, and the persons who are reporting these crimes. There must be things put in place to make sure that if after reporting criminal activities in the area of corruption, you will not be haunted, just as we, the organization, CPAT Nigeria, has been haunted since 2015. And we've been writing later even to the president. I did not bring myself to become a coalition group of the anti-corruption. We were selected, and before we were selected, we were seen to be people of integrity. And like you hear the name of the organization, it's an integrity organization. So I am looking at President Muhammad Buhari has done his best in the area of fighting corruption.
Is his best good enough?
Well, it depends on other people's perspective. But to me, I think he's trying his best. You can believe this to say that the corruption that you see that we're fighting is not something that can be immediate. Because you can see the saga, the crisis in the Senate. All these crises, what are they all about? One says, I am being hunted because I have been called to come and defend myself. If you are called by the authority, what stop you? You are a Nigerian, and by law, you have a right to go there and defend yourself. Nigerians are watching. So why are they not going there? The Senate President, is he too big that is he not a Nigerian? Or the IG is being called to come and give account of what it is. We all must understand this. The President has tried his best. And if you think that the President is not trying his best, I tell you that is not true. It is the agencies now that are reporting to him. Are they reporting right? Are they reporting exactly what they get? So this whole thing Nigerians have to look at this.
Now, the thing is, let's dissect this fight against corruption. Now, for instance, when they came on board, they said they have blocked leakages in government, such that finances that were being siphoned, those leakages have been blocked. Now, that will mean that there should be more money in circulation. There should be more money in the economy. Things should get better because monies that were going to private pockets can now be sourced back into the economy, and the life of the common man gets better. But the feedback we have as Nigerians is that things have gotten a lot much worse than they used to be. Prices of basic commodities have increased. We are fighting inflation. The economy went into recession and all of that. So placing the fight against corruption vis-a-vis the realities like this on ground, would you say that actually the war on corruption is benefiting Nigerians, the common man on the street?
Okay, I just want to put this to you directly. You see, when you talk about the country,
yes,
the president came out openly and said there have been a lot of loopholes. Now, it is very easy for you to destroy, but building up something, it's not easy. And remember, the president said when he came on board that, look, Nigerians will feel the pain. I remember there's a saying, no pain, no gain. If actually they are generating, do you know how much had been out already? So the people are trying to put these things in place. And the president is not working alone. You talk about poverty, you talk about people are not the price of things. You can see what is happening in the Senate when there is no collaboration, when there is fighting, because this is an open fight. And when the elephant fight, who suffers it? The grass. We in the civil society group, we've been going around from state to state. We see what is happening. You see, the only thing that will make this eventful and successful is when Nigerians will call on the executive arms of the government, both the presidency, the National Assembly, and the House of Reps. They should come together and bury all that past and work for the benefit and the prosperity of this country. The Senate is not sitting. Now the president said he has passed a bill to be signed by the Senate. How can this be? Now they said the Senate are afraid this. Saraki says they will impeach him, and the APC, they should just allow...
Saraki is saying that because Adams Oshiomhole has come up to say openly that they will impeach him.
Well,
that is the chairman of a political party who is not even a member of the National Assembly.
Good. If he says so, the president is the commander-in-chief and is the chairman of the party. Has the president come out to say that? The president has called them and said, come, please, let us have a dialogue through the Senator Itaina.
But a statement like that coming from the leader of the party that the lawmakers who are in majority are, it can move.
You have just said that Adams Oshiomhole is not a member of the Senate.
Of course.
Now, he is talking on his own perspective.
As the leader of the party that has a majority in the National Assembly.
Now, the Senate itself, are they saying so? The Senate wants a progressive atmosphere and development for the country. And that is why he says, let's come back to it. We Nigerians are watching. Why don't they come? Let them convey. Let them pass some of these bills so that you are talking about the things that they recovered, if the Senate does not sit and they sit down and have a good relationship and alliance with the presidency, how would they make the country?
The Senate has been sitting from 2015 up until 2018. Is this 2 months that is going to hamper whatever has been
from the
happening?
beginning of the Senate, you've seen that they have always been a rapport. Now, all these things, how do you think this will impact? This one disagrees, this one agrees. At least, if they are bringing 100% bill to be passed, let it be in a note that at least 70% is passed. Nigerians will understand. Not that you abstain already or say people should not come. We disagree, and we rule this out as an impunity on the people of this country and the citizenry. Because whatever they are doing there affects us. We know what is happening. Before you know now, the oil price will go up, or the Nopeng will say they are going on strike, because a lot of things are happening. People are suffering. If you go to the market now, what was sold for 100 naira is now sold for 500 naira. Why? Because there's no synergy. There's no proper arrangement. There's no cooperation. When there is cooperation, the people in the Senate, those that are representing us, will take this message to the House and tell them, look, this is what is happening to my people. How do we do this? Now, can the president sit down and sign the bill alone without the Senate? The Senate has to come in, and the president, they have to. The only thing we should preach and beg Nigerians is to pray and plead with the president and the National Assembly to all come together and form a synergy to move this country forward.
That's been what people have been saying. Now, we understand that the circumstances that led to the emergence of Bukola Saraki as the president of the Senate were not, favorable for the party. And now, he had emerged as at then, and the party was uncomfortable. What was wrong with the party coming together and say, okay, fine, this guy is the president. Let's work with him for the smooth, running of government. After all, he is a member of the ruling party, the party of the president, and all other executive council members. But instead of doing that, the party inadvertently wanted to pass through the back door to get him out of the position of the Senate president, which it is still trying to do till now, from the words of Adams Oshiomhole, the national chairman of the party. That has been the result of the rift. He has been hounded. He has been, pursued all over, harassed, if that's the right word to use, as a Senate president, moving from one court to another, and all of that. So don't you think that executive, and of course the party, the ruling party, has been part of these, smooth relationship between these two arms of government?
Well, you can say this. This is their internal affairs.
Yes.
Now, you in the APC, you should know that there are people who are like watchdogs, who are seeing people who are playing anti-politics. Sometimes they are here and they're at the other side. Now look at the defection. For example, this one is defecting from APC to PDP. This one is from PDP to APC. Why are they doing this? Is it for the interest of the common man? Is it the interest of the society? It is not for the interest of the society. It is for their own personal interest. And because if somebody thinks that you are corrupt, and you are talking about corruption. Now, go back to where we started. The president says, every person in my cabinet, if you are corrupt, I will fish you out. That was his promise. So,
has he fished anybody out?
He's trying to.
In 3 years?
He's trying to do
the first, assuming he doesn't get the second term, it means he will not be able to fish out one person.
He will. He will. You see, getting a second term is always a very difficult task. You get the first term, the people think that you will dance to their tune. But when you get the second term, I think at that time, at that junction, you see that the man will act. He knows that this is his finishing point. But as I'm assuring you, I do not want to dabble into the National Assembly's affairs, but I want to tell you strongly that the way the National Assembly, the APC and the PDP, they are going about this whole thing, it is not to the benefit of the common man. We are not happy about it, and we believe this has to stop. We believe this has to... Now look at it now. If they call, you are inviting the Senate President to come and answer to corrupt charges. Does it mean that he should not go? He should go. The President will not go there and force him out. They are bringing politics into crime. They are bringing politics into the development of this country. It has nothing to do with development. You can still go to your court and continue with your administration and do what you're supposed to do.
That's very distracting.
You can say that. But what I'm telling you is this. The people, the politicians are the ones destroying and spoiling this country. Now, somebody invites you, come and answer to your call, or maybe come and defend yourself. You will now bring your group. They will now go and cause a blockade somewhere. And they said because it is a political, what is political about it? What is political about it? Look at, you see, in some of the cases, look, Saraki had gone to the, what do you call, the...
CCT?
Yes, and when he got there, what happened? He was discharged and acquitted. So what stops him from going there? He should not be distracted. He should not be distracted by because these people that are causing this confusion, they are people who are making this trouble to the benefit of their pockets. And there are people who are causing this confusion to their own selfish interests. There are people who might walk to the president and say, this is what this other one says, just because he wants to gain favor from the president. And with Nigerians, you understand this. But when you come to the people, when you come to the administration, when you come to the benefits that we had put them in that place for, they should bury and let their party fight be in their own party secretariat. They should not bring it to the National Assembly.
Now, one of the things that the present administration has been said to have done that is not right is the fact that perceived enemies in court or perceived opposition members are the ones that have been targeted for corruption. For instance, since the gale of defection started, there have been renewed cases of corruption against the deputy president of the Senate. And, you know, people are now, for instance, being said to have seen, people are seen to be saying that if you defect to the All Progressives Congress, all your sins have been forgiven. There are insinuations that the minority leader of the Senate, or former minority leader as it were, Godswill Akpabio, is defecting because of protection. When you join the party, you are protected. Most of the people who left the PDP prior to 2015 and joined the APC, none of them is being hounded, but those who remained. So there is this idea of a selective kind of, corruption fight. And if you look at the indices, they are all clear to say it is a biased kind of, fight against corruption. Is that what you're reasoning to?
Looking at the aspect of Akpabio was my former governor. And I will tell you, the EFCC, are they not under the presidency? Now, I want to let you know this. Akpabio defecting or not defecting, the EFCC had come out to say, you still have a case to answer. Now, the people in this country should behave with what they call a stunt heart. Look at the woman who approached the DSS official at the National Assembly. Mm-hmm. Is she not a human being? Is she not a woman? Why did they not shoot her? When you know what is right, when you know you're right, you will all continue to remain and you will not be a coward. It's only cowards that will look at, said, I do not like what is happening because I want to stay here and continue to live in impunity and continue to live in the detriment to the pain and the detriment of the people, of the society. And you said you will not defect. It's a coward's behavior. The only thing you have to do, if you find out, because we have freedom of expression, we have freedom of association, freedom of disassociation. If I don't want to have a relationship with you, I can walk away. If you want to send EFCC after me, you can send. If my conscience is clear, I will defend myself. Now, look at you're talking about selective fight. Good. These people, have you had the recovery of how much the EFCC? Because you see, before the security agencies come after you, there must be some recovery.
EFCC man said he did not even know, as the last time he was being interviewed, he didn't even know how much was recovered or has been recovered by his agency.
Because the investigation is still on.
But there could be a summary of what you have while investigating others.
Come out and say this is the figure when you have not concluded your investigation. Some of these people are under watch. You should understand that. Because the security agency will not just come out and give a wrong figure. Remember, these people will be charged to court. When you give a wrong figure here, they can use that against you. So they are still making this effort to get this information. Now, looking at you should separate the area of development, the presidency, and the selective effort of the president fighting corruption. Let me tell you this. If I have not stolen money, and you say I've stolen money, and I say, look, this money you've stolen, if you leave me, I'm going to blow you up. So, you now said, no, I will not leave. But later on, you find out the pressure is much from your people, you now leave. Why are you afraid? He that has stolen should come and give account of you. Every governor, every senator, every government is accountable to his people. They should come and give account of their stewardship to the society. That one, I don't think is anything that has to do with a partial investigation. Well, if you, let me say, for example now, you see the government is investigating their person. You see the government is investigating the opposition. The opposition will rise and say this is political. And what I'm trying to say as a leader of a civil society group is this. Nigerians should look beyond the politics. The Nigerians should look beyond our self-interest. They should look and see the future of our children and children yet unborn. And we should say no to impunity.
I'm afraid of time, but let's just wrap this up by asking you, what it is like, what you think the fight against corruption will look like if civil society organizations, which you head in Nigeria, become neutral without being sponsored to go to National Assembly and protest, go to presidency and protest and all of that. Where is corruption fight headed? If your organization, and all other civil society organizations do what is necessary, do what is right, and not get compromised gravely.
Good. What I should start in saying is this. The government came out with a structure to restructure and there are some amendments. They wanted to do something with the civil society group. A lot of people kick against it. There's a need for the reorganization and bringing all the civil society to an umbrella, and we keep talking. There's something you must understand. It's easy to control and organize stones, but to control one human being, it's not easy. You should see that these things are spread all over the country. And I want to beg through this media to tell Mr. President, they should give us a house. They should give us a center where all the civil society group should come together and have that cordial relationship, mostly with the presidency, because we have president support group. Any government that comes in, we must support to see how we can move this country forward. We're not looking at the fracas in the National Assembly. All we're agitating for is that the people should bury their pride, bury their pains, bury their cries, and look at the society where they come to represent. I am assuring you, Mr. Sariki will not be impeached. Sariki will not be impeached. The only thing there is this. The government too should look at this whole thing. The media has been reviewed. People have been saying all this. People are saying that the president, there's a compromise in the area of fighting corruption. Well, we can have a discussion, even if possible every month. They should be packaged. This is not corruption. They should be packaged. There should be provisional vehicles that convey from people from state. Even if it's half a year, we can have these meetings. And these meetings should be based on what we are meant to do as a civil society group, not dabbling into politics. The civil society group is not supposed to be dabbling into politics. You should not be dabbling into who is to go to the police for investigation, who is to go to ICPC, who is to go to EFCC. We're not supposed to be that. We're not supposed to be partisan to anybody. We are supposed to be neutral. We are supposed to serve the masses. We are supposed to agitate for good governance. We are supposed to agitate for the government, and we encourage the government to have a synergy, to have love for the three tiers of government, and including us, the civil society group.
Amazing.
Because we are, when you talk of the government, who are the government? We are the government. And without the government coming to work with us, this whole thing will continue and continue and continue. But I promise you one thing. If you media men could go, let the president, I know a lot of people are watching this live, they should talk to Mr. President. Let him call us. We will come together. All these people that are working against the government is because of money. They can talk them into, they should tell them the reason why corruption should be fight to the barest minimum. The president is trying. If I say the president is not trying, then I'll be lying. I do not have any access to Mr. President. I had access to Mr. Goodluck Jonathan and other presidents, but since the coming of President Muhammad Buhari, we have never had any opportunity to meet with him and discuss one-on-one, even after much application for audience, to have an audience with him. It is only those that are closer to him that can talk to him.
Okay.
But we beg that the president, through his media aides, should invite us, let us have a meeting, and let us see how we can quell this crisis. To us, it is me and you that can resolve, and we should remain peaceful for the future of our children and the children yet unborn.
Chief Ambassador Dr. Ime Stephen is the Director General, Center for International Integrity, Peace and Development in Nigeria. That is CIPAD, and CIPAD is a member of the National Anti-Corruption Coalition Group, and he is also the president of all NGOs in Nigeria. It has been my pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
And that's the much we'll take on issues of the moment for today. My name is Nten Ekbang. Join us sometime very soon. Bye-bye.